Okay, so this is how much far we have come. We skipped the topic tilaka. Okay, whenever there is no material arrive on time, so we will do the tilaka. Okay, so this is where we are. So today we are entering week number 22, Topmost Yoga. Okay, but before that, we want to recap this number 19, 20, 21. Okay, so it's pretty, interrelated, these three topics. Okay. So in week 19, we learned about false ego. So we started by categorizing the body into two types of bodies. Please tell me, what are the two types of bodies?
Gross body and subtle body.
Okay, gross body and subtle body. Very good. Okay, these are the two types of body. Okay. Who knows what is the subtle body consists of? Gunalan Prabhu, would you like to try? Subtle body. There are three. That's the clue. Jagadish Mataji. I buka one clue.
Got it. I mean, sorry, Mataji, I'm actually driving.
You're driving. Okay. Okay.
I'm trying to mute.
I won't.
Yeah, sorry, but I can just. I mean,
you can listen. Yes.
Yeah. No, I can now. I'm unmute.
Oh, okay.
Is it? I honestly I did not revise,
okay.
But I think is it your soul, your mind?
Okay, mind.
Mind. It's not our soul, right?
It's not soul. These are the three layers covering of the soul. So soul is not included in these three.
It's a false ego.
I can only think of mind.
Okay, very good. Jagadish Mataji, you got one correct. Mind. Tamari Mataji.
Well, I'm looking at my book anyhow. It
Okay.
says spirit, soul, false ego, and mind, intelligent.
No. Okay, so the spirit soul, there's a three-layer covering the spirit soul, which is that subtle body. So now we have done mind. There's two more.
Intelligent.
Okay. Yes, mind. Intelligence.
False ego.
Yes, false ego, because that is the topic of the week 19, right? So we zoomed into false ego that day. Thank you, Mataji. So what is false ego, or what does false ego make us believe or make us do? What is the role of this false ego here, or what is the danger, or the what is the dark side of this false ego? So we have ego and we have false ego. Okay, for ego means our original condition. Okay, that we are spirit soul. What is false ego?
Is it our anger, our emotion, Mataji?
Okay, why does that happen? So all this is happening because of false ego. So what does this false ego actually do to us?
We become like identify or connect to the body. We become I am. So through ego, we acknowledge Krishna as the controller.
Okay, so on the contrary, what does the false ego do?
False ego, it's like identify oneself as the teacher.
Teacher?
As the controller of oneself.
I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say we are the doer.
Yes.
Okay, false ego makes us believe that we are the doer. All right. And because it makes us think like that, it pushes us to take credit for everything. So making us forget that Krishna is the controller. It makes us think that we did it, we controls it, we are the doer. So this is what the false ego does to us. Okay, so the conclusion of that week was to understand that we are actually not the doer, that we are not actually the controller. The controller is the Supreme Lord Krishna. This was established in the Ishopanishad, that he is the controller. Okay, so that is week 19. In week 19, we learned about the three layers of subtle body, and we learned about the false ego. and we learned so how not to be affected by the false ego. So that's week 19. So week 20, we went to understand about mind, intelligence, and soul. So this is where we have the hierarchy. What is better than what is better than what. So you all remember that? Okay, so I'm going to skip this to see whether you all remember. So what is that at the lowest rank? Anybody?
Lowest is the body.
The body, yes.
And then we have senses,
Senses,
mind, intelligence, and the soul.
Okay, mind, intelligence, and the soul. Yes, very good. So body is a dull matter because without the consciousness inside, without the soul inside, it's nothing. So the soul has to be inside the body for it to be functioning. Okay, so like that, senses, mind, intelligence, soul. Okay, so we went through that, and then we wanted to understand how this can help us. Okay, so generally yoga is used. Okay, so I brought this recap because our topic for the day is topmost yoga. So what is the purpose of yoga? The purpose of yoga is ultimately to control the senses in order to walk on the path of liberation. So everything starts from control of the senses. So later we will see why control of the senses is the basic in yoga. So this one actually we have covered in chapter 6 in level 1 and level 2 in great depth. Okay, so probably today I will just run through some slides pretty fast because we already have some knowledge about that. Okay, on the Dhyana Yoga chapter. So like I said, yoga is the purpose is to control the senses. On the other side, when we compare with Bhakti Yoga, okay, Bhakti Yoga or God consciousness or Krishna consciousness, it is meant to purify the senses. Okay, so it is not entirely about artificially control the senses, like, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you have to suppress your feelings, suppress your desires, don't have desires, detach everything. So it's not exactly like that. All right, it purifies the senses, means you're still using your eyes, you're still using your mouth, you're still using your nose, you're still using all your working senses. It's just that instead of doing certain things, now you have changed to do things that are favorable to devotional services. So in this way, the senses are purified. So ultimately, this will bring us to control the senses. Why is it so different? Why is it not going direct to control of the senses? Because if you just practice the control of the senses mechanically, okay, there is a tendency that one day we will give up and go back to our old habits. Okay, whereas when the senses are purified, when through all these bhakti activities, it will be purified. It's not only controlling the senses, it's not only purify the senses, but it keeps things at bay that will not come back, because the seed will be taken out. All right, controlling the senses does not mean the seed is taken out. Okay, so the seed it will be there. It's just that it's not manifested. Okay, so once you stop this yogic practice, that the old activities, the old habits will come back. We will go back to that. So that is the difference. Okay. Okay, so in conclusion, one may not give up work and prescribed duties all of a sudden. So this is what I mentioned earlier. You do not give up things. Okay, but you gradually develop the Krishna consciousness. By that, you can be situated in a transcendental position without being influenced by the material senses and the mind. So you can see the activity of the soul is superior to this material senses and mind. This is superior. So usually we want to follow our mind. Actually, it's not. The intelligence is higher. Okay, even higher than that is the soul. Okay, so we cannot artificially try to give up enjoying our senses, but train ourselves in Krishna consciousness by higher intelligence. Okay, so we need to rank them up properly. Okay. Okay. So we encourage giving up enjoying the senses, but we encourage purifying the senses by training in spiritual activities in Krishna consciousness. My internet connection is keep showing unstable, so just alert me if I'm lagging. Now we are entering week 21. So in week 21, we learn about a chariot. Anybody remembers what is the chariot about? Anything that you remember about the chariot? What chariot? Is it Arjuna and Krishna's chariot? What chariot was that?
During the war there's a chariot, right, with Krishna and Arjuna.
No.
There's something about the soul, the driver, and the, what do you call this? The horses, yeah.
Yes,
the horses. So I think the horses was the five senses, right? You have to read.
Yes, horses are the five senses.
The driver have to hold it in, I think something like the intelligent, mind, intelligent, and soul.
Okay, so what does the driver represent?
There you go. Okay. This passenger is the soul.
Passenger is the soul. Yes, that's the boss.
Yeah, the driver is intelligent.
Yes.
The rain
and how
is
does
mind.
he control the senses?
Using the mind, rain.
Yes.
And then the horses will be the senses, right? So
yes. Very good, very good. So the individual is the passenger. The whole chariot is the material body. Intelligence is the driver. So mind is the driving instrument between the intelligence and the senses. Just like the intelligence dictates, the mind will move the senses, which are the horses. Okay, very good. Okay, next recap question. What symptoms can we understand that our mind is our enemy? So what happens if the rein is not held properly? What happens? Means if the intelligence does not hold the mind properly to direct the senses, what happens to our destination, our journey? What happens to our body?
The horses will go out of control.
Yes, the horses will go out of control or go to the wrong way. And what will be the final impact to us?
Disaster.
Lost, okay.
Disaster.
Disaster. Yes, having things, unwanted things to happen, or regrets, or being involved in things that we don't want to be involved. Okay, so that's one. And what else? The symptoms of mind is why we always need to control the mind. What is the characteristic of mind here?
This mind is restless.
Yes, restless.
So more difficult to control than the wind.
Yes, very good, Mataji. You remember the verse. Yeah.
No, I've written it. So
okay, very good, very good. So strong and obstinate and turbulence and all these things. Okay, so the passenger should be the controller, not the horses. Okay, if the horses control the chariot will not go in proper direction. So similarly, we should not let our sense of mind control our intelligence. It will lead to trouble, cause us to do unwanted things, which we will regret. So we should never be driven by our mind and senses. Okay, next question. What is the purpose of the yoga system? What is the purpose of yoga system in controlling of this mind? Okay, let me just give the answer. Okay, that strong mind, right? It's supposed to be controlled by the practice of yoga. Okay, but remember Arjuna said that it's not practical for him because he's a worldly person. So it's not practical for him to control his mind because it's more strong, it's more difficult than controlling the wind. So what to speak of modern people like us? So we studied all this earlier. Okay, the next question. Should we artificially try to stop enjoying our senses? So this one also we just covered earlier. So what is your answer? Should we try to artificially stop enjoying our senses? So we abstain from doing a lot of things. Don't do this, don't do that. Do we do that? Are we encouraged to do that? Kajai Mataji, so quiet today.
Yeah, Mataji.
You're all right.
You're not encouraged to do that.
You're not encouraged to do that. So what is the solution for us? What is the method that we can use or follow?
Well, first we need to make sure that we know how to control our mind. So we need to practice. One way of practicing is chanting.
Okay, very good. So engaging our activities in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we can purify our senses instead of controlling it, because ultimately it will control the senses and will not go back to the bad habits or the old habits. Okay, so that is why we cannot artificially try to stop enjoying our senses. Okay, what's the last question? How can the mind be the cause of bondage? Is it a tough question? How can the mind be the cause of bondage? What can cause? What could be the factor involved between the mind and the bondage? What can the mind do to us?
I think a mind can, the mind can get excited over sense enjoyment, right? So let's say if I like chocolate cake, you know, so that's not correct. This one, right? That's just a bodily, material enjoyment, right? So the mind can overpower everything and tell it, go and take the chocolate cake.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so of course, when we be able to control our mind, our intelligence, we can control it. No matter how the mind tells us that we already in control, then I won't take the chocolate cake, for instance.
Correct. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So if you do not, or if our mind remains as an unconquered enemy, then we have to, the mind will push us to serve the dictation of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, desire, like that.
Yeah.
Then it will make us regret, why did I listen to my mind? You know, like that. Yeah, so this how the mind be the cause of bondage. Everything starts from mind. Everything starts from contemplation. You do not engage in things immediately. If you notice that, we will start thinking about it. We will start contemplating on it. So the more we so-called meditate on it, and it will eventually lead us into actions, and actions will lead us to reactions, and that reaction will cause bondage. So this is the chain of reactions. Okay, so that's week 21, nature of the mind and mind control. Right, this is the chariot. Okay, everything was correctly described by Tamari Mataji. So these are the senses. This is the rein that is used to control the senses. It should be in the hands of intelligence, and the boss is the soul. Okay. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, oh Krishna. And to subdue it, I think it's more difficult than controlling the wind. Okay, next. Speak your mind. What is the best thing you have ever required? What is the best thing you have ever required? Now only we are entering the ice-breaking question. Indra Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, we have when we have gone through the materialistic component of it, at the we feel that we have achieved so much. You know, the success of the child that or the children that we bring up become, for parents, it becomes the greatest achievement, or what we have acquired is to see them well. You know, so that is the materialistic component. But if you take the spiritual component, that now being a bit more mind, like intelligence is working now. So I would say that getting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is something that has happened to me.
Oh, that's so nice. Yes, I agree with you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Anybody else would like to share anything else? Meena Mataji, are you convenient to talk? Okay. Who else? Yashoda Mai Mataji, would you like to share anything? What's the best thing you have ever acquired?
Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
Control our mind.
No, Yashoda Mai Mataji.
There's two Yashoda.
Yashoda Mai Mataji, sorry.
I think for me also same become a Krishna devotee.
Okay.
Krishna conscious into me.
Mm. Yeah, I think
That's
I would agree on that
This
also. For me.
realization, yeah, the best.
Can I say something?
Yes, sure, Prabhu, go ahead.
The best thing that I've acquired all this while is after so long living is
Mhm.
being a vegan and
Yeah.
maintaining it for the last maybe 10 years.
For the last
10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
10 years, Prabhu, you say?
Yeah. I was 110 kilos. Now I'm 70 kilos.
Haribo! Congratulations, Prabhu. So you think the being vegan has actually altered your diet favorably
Plus
for
also
you?
spiritual openings and all that.
Mm.
Given up a lot of things, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
good,
became
Prabhu.
a better person.
So you let your intelligence dictate your senses.
I became more given up a lot of unwanted desires like alcohol.
Hmm. So that means you have given the intelligence the seat, the power to
Yes,
dictate. Yeah, so we can see how true it's working. If you
very
know
true.
this hierarchy, it's really true.
And you feel very happy and you're feeling very calm, very peaceful,
Hmm.
and I'm enjoying every moment of it. And I don't care what is tomorrow.
Okay. We should care how we live our life until we
Yes,
die, because we don't know how we're going to die.
yes, that's all.
And like Krishna said, attaining the supreme in chapter 8, so we
Yes.
need to think of him at the time of death, so we don't at least fall in the animal kingdom, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still do my
so
prayers every night and every early morning 3:30.
wow,
Namandra, all that I still do 108 times.
very nice, Prabhu. Yes, thank you so much for sharing. Okay. And there is less temper too. Wow. Okay. So that's your realization, Kajay Mataji?
Yes, mine
Okay.
also.
Okay, very nice. So yes, so like this, we always desire to acquire the best of everything. Okay, and we cherish that which is the best. Okay, you won't let go because knowing that is the best. So today we are going to see the best of all the yogas. Okay, so that's why our topic is topmost yoga. So like I mentioned earlier, this chapter, this information we have actually covered under level 1 and in greater length in chapter 2. Okay, I had so many slides on this yoga, on the Ashtanga yoga. Okay, Ashtanga yoga means eightfold yoga. Ashta means 8. So you can see how the yoga progresses. A person, a yogi who starts up with his yoga journey, he will start by doing this yama and niyama. Yama and niyama means things that he is responsible to the society, things that he is responsible. I think this is not very accurate, so you can just ignore this. Things that is favorable to society, things that is favorable to himself. So of course, somehow it will boil down to these things that to do, things you don't do. So yama niyama means things you do. It's like do's and don'ts. Okay, so you have to do this, and this is covering the beginning, whereby the senses are controlled at this stage. So once the senses are controlled, then the person will go into obtaining the right sitting posture, because earlier he was controlling the senses, now he has to control the body. So once he controls that, he goes to the stage of pranayama, the breathing yoga, the breathing practices. So here they will be controlling the breath. Okay, so when they do that, they withdraw the senses. Earlier, they control the senses. Okay, they go into do's and don'ts. And then at pratyahara, they withdraw the senses. Okay, and then they control the mind under dharana. So they will find something to fix their mind and be absorbed in it. Okay, so dharana means they can be one object with various spectrums. Okay, for example, if the object of meditation is sun, then you will be thinking the various spectrums of the sun, like the shape of it, the light of it, the color of it, the rays of it, the rays of sunlight, the heat. So you have various spectrums on one object. As they control their mind, concentrating on that one object with the various spectrums, they go into dhyana stage. In the dhyana stage, they delete all the other things like the rays, the heat, the colors, and they just focus on the shape of the sun. That means their focus is more resolute, more zoomed into one thing. So generally, this is what yogis do. They meditate on the Vishnu form. Okay, this is dhyana. Once they advance in that, it takes a very long time to achieve this. Okay, but once they achieve this, they attain samadhi. So which means the soul may leave the body in that state. So a lot of sages, they go through this, and the soul will go to the Brahman platform, because all they do is meditative. They are in meditative mode. Okay, and in chapter 6, the focus was on dhyana yoga. This is where Krishna gave so many instructions, step by step. Do you all remember this? Do you all remember that first you have to shut out all the external sense objects? It will still fall back to this. Okay, this chart, right? This is the yoga system given by Patanjali. Okay, so of course Patanjali came after Krishna, but he wrote a lot of books on yoga. Okay, he's an expert in yoga. That's why it's called Patanjali. And here Krishna gives a very summarized version of guideline how a person goes into dhyana, do things. Okay, he will keep the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows. So you can actually match back to the chart I showed earlier. Okay, he will suspend the inward and outward breaths. So this is pranayama. And then he will control the mind, sense, intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. So he's withdrawing his senses. Okay, one who is always in this state is certainly liberated. So they are going towards the achievement, towards the goal, achieving the goal. Okay, so before that, the background has to be set. The geographical setting has to be set. You need to find a secluded place. Then you have to lay kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. So whoever wants to dhyana, this is the right way. This is the best way given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And how you set your seat, it should not be so high, it should not be too low. And it should be in a sacred place, okay, not in the middle of the city, not in the high-rise condo, okay, or not rooftop of the house. No, Krishna said secluded place and sacred place, secluded and sacred. So you have to find that place. Okay, and you have to sit on it firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities, fixing the mind on one point. This is the yoga system that Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so it somehow it matches with the Patanjali yoga. Now, this is the yoga that Krishna gave. How about the yoga that we know now? What is happening to the yoga in modern age? What is your opinion? Do you find something funny happening to yoga in modern age?
Yeah, yoga is more exercise
Yeah.
than spiritual awakening life.
Yeah,
Become
so
more of a business and as exercise.
business and exercise. Yeah, Prabhupada has spoke a lot about the yoga. He says yoga is not some gymnastics. Okay, it's more than that. Okay, what else? What are the extreme things that you have come across about yoga in modern age?
Have you all heard about yoga?
What, Mataji? Sorry, can't hear you.
From yoga, it's also known as the heat
What-
yoga. They use
What
heat-
yoga, Mataji? Not clear.
Bikram.
Vikram.
Bikram. It's called Bikram yoga. Anyway, it was
Vikram, I know the picture lah.
it was
Bikram. What is Bikram?
It's a
From the
huge
picture,
camp.
Kamal selected.
It's about this Indian yogi, open those inverted comma, who said that he created this yoga, this heat yoga, and then it's just a big scam. It was very famous. So one of the things that people do wrong is misuse yoga to that extent.
Okay,
was-
what does he do? Is he the one that sexually abused the ladies? Is he the
Yeah,
one?
that's the one. That's Bikram.
Bikram.
He's Bikram. Huh? Yes, I think I saw that too.
And we also have Osho. Let's not forget Osho.
Osho is a yoga teacher. I thought he's a philosopher.
He's also yogi. So he's also, I've read some of his books. So he also
Yeah,
have
Bhagwan
elements of
Bhagwan.
yoga. So it's all They just use that term and they're teaching.
Correct. They use that term, so glamour, right? To make money, like Gunanan Prabhu said. So, of course, it's not wrong to exercise, keep the body fit. Somehow the vessel is given for us to use it. But it's being abused and misused. Okay, so this is one picture. What is this? How yoga is exploited in the modern world. What are they doing?
Yeah, yoga.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. I also heard like Bikram, so it's actually Bikram. Okay. So yoga exploited in Western world. And this is also a cultural misappropriation. Okay. And there is also abuse. So this is how yoga exploited in the Western world. And there is some unauthorized yogis even dare to say publicly that one can indulge in drinking and at the same time practice meditation. So how can that happen? It's like the railway track is moving and the train is also moving. Will you able to achieve the destination? It doesn't happen like that. So if you follow the Patanjali yoga and the yoga system that Krishna is saying, the first 2 steps is do's and don'ts. After that, you are withdrawing the senses already. How can you achieve self-realization? By drinking and doing all sort of things and saying that I am doing yoga. Okay, so this is the wrong yoga. Okay, now the real yoga is this. The real yoga is this super consciousness. It is about linking our consciousness with the super consciousness. So we are the individual consciousness. Okay, ours is an individual consciousness, and we are trying to connect our consciousness to super consciousness. Super consciousness, you all understand, right? It's a super soul. Okay, so this super consciousness can only be achieved by dovetailing individual consciousness with the super consciousness. So that is the system, that is the purpose, dovetailing, connecting. And this dovetailing process is called surrender or Krishna consciousness. So this is the process. Okay, all right, so let's go back to the system that Patanjali gave, or the ones that Krishna gave in chapter 6. So what do you think? Can you do the yogic process taught by Lord Krishna or Patanjali? What are the challenges? What are the challenges? This is something got to do with the challenges of the mind that we covered earlier in the recap. We can always quote what Arjuna said.
You can't control the mind.
Ask the mind to stay still.
Okay. So before that, Arjuna will say something in 6.33. So if you have Bhagavad Gita, you can open. Who open first? Because Krishna was giving all kind of step by step on the yoga system. Then Arjuna was like, wait, hang on, Krishna, what are you saying? You know, like that.
6.34, Mataji.
3.3.
3.33.
6.33.
Oh, Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have just summarized is impractical and unendurable for me. For the mind is restless and unsteady.
Restless and unsteady. So he said this, okay? Impractical and unendurable. And mind us, we are talking about Arjuna, who is such a great archer, and he is the son of Lord Indra. Okay, even he says it's impractical, unendurable. Why? Because he's working. He's a Satriya, he's a householder, he's a father. Okay, he's a husband, he's a son. He's got things to do. Okay, he's going to be the future king. And he's also having issues like the mind is restless and unsteady. And the dhyana that has been actually in practice, it should go on for so many years. So imagine if you want to go from the on the Ashtanga yoga ladder from the first stage to the 8th stage, you know how long it's going to go. Can you do this in 20 minutes? No, it's not possible. Okay, so now it brings us to the problem and challenges with the mind. This one also we done already, so I just want to refresh your memory. So what is that challenge? What are the challenges with the mind? Now we don't have to open the notebook already. Now you should remember already. The mind is like a monkey. Yes. So now, without referring to any note, what are the characteristics of mind? Tell me. Maybe one person can give one word.
Feeling and willing.
Restless.
Okay, restless is one.
Kera kena belacan.
Yeah, so what is that actually? I agree with that, Prabhu.
It's like a
What is that
monkey.
word?
Mine is like tying a restless monkey to a pole.
Yeah, restless. So if
Restless
Kera kena
monkey to a
belacan,
pole.
what happens to him?
Forever having desires.
Okay, okay. We go to the what Arjuna has said about mind. Just now he said restless. Okay, we can use that word restless.
Difficult to control.
Okay.
Stronger than the wind, is it?
Okay. What else?
I was wondering.
Okay, you can open your verse 3:3 and 3:4 and see if you can catch some words from that.
Turbulent.
Turbulent, yes. Very good. Come on. So the restless is given. What else?
You say that the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate.
Yes, the answer are all in verse 34. Okay, did anybody hear that? Who's going to repeat? Who can repeat that? Yashoda Mai Mataji, would you like to repeat?
Yes. Restless, turbulent, and obstinate.
One more.
One more. And very strong.
Yes, very strong. Okay. Restless, turbulent, obstinate, very strong. So these are all the characteristics of mind, which is the reason why we are not able to take up to the Dhyana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. So if that is the case, then who is the best yogi according to Lord Krishna? So this was given in verse 47. Okay, Gunalan Prabhu, can I request you to read the English?
Okay. And of all yogis, the one with great faith will always abide in me, think of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So this is always the pattern of Bhagavad Gita chapters, where Krishna will give all kinds of knowledge, and at the conclusion of the chapter, he will somehow conclude by saying, those who are taking the bhakti path is easy to achieve me. He always concludes like that. So he's very fair. He's being very fair. You want to know about Dhyana Yoga? Okay, come, I teach you. You have to find a secluded place. You have to find a sacred place. Then you have to find this and you have to find that. You have to sit like this. You have to do this. Yes. But this can be very troublesome. I understand. Even when Arjuna said that it's very troublesome, Krishna, for me to do it, then Krishna did not support Arjuna immediately and say, okay, fine, let's go to Bhakti. He didn't say that. He said, what did he say? I understand it's very difficult, but you can do it with constant practice and detachment. So again, Krishna encourages that you can do this. But eventually he says, this is the topmost yogi. Who? The one that always think of me. He is always he's always intimately united with me, and I give the award to him as the highest yogi. This is what Krishna is saying. So look at the last line. That is my opinion. Even at a few places, Krishna uses this phrase, that is my opinion. I'm not sure if I have explained this in this class, in this batch. Does anybody know why Krishna uses this? That is my opinion. Why do you think Krishna uses it? Does it mean that, sometimes when we use this, this is my opinion, because we are so afraid to impose our beliefs on others. So could it be because of that? Is Krishna lack of confidence in saying this? Why do you think? That is my opinion. Because our free will. Very good, Mataji. Boleh juga pakai. What else? Yeah, the Bhagavad Gita is all about free will, because otherwise Krishna wouldn't ask Arjuna at the end. So now that I've explained to you everything, Arjuna, so you do whatever that you wish to do. So eventually he said that.
See, that's the thing, Mataji. He always gives us that option to choose.
Yes.
He would tell us what is the best way, the best path, but at the end of the day, we decide, we choose.
Correct.
So you say, this is my opinion, but what you do is up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason explained for this verse, this phrase, right? That is my opinion, because we have so many people giving so many opinions. Okay. So when Krishna gives his opinion, then it becomes the opinion. So that opinion is supreme opinion. Okay. Yet that's why he says that is my opinion. Many places he says that is my opinion. And then at the end, like Ajay Mataji said, I've given you everything, so it is your choice what you want to do. So in no circumstance Krishna was imposed that you must do this. No, he's just very neutrally he gives, okay, if you do this, you get this, and if you want to do that, I will give you the facility. Okay, if you want to attain me, I will give you the understanding. So everything Krishna provides. Okay, so and because he's the overseer and permitter after all, right? So this is additional information why Krishna uses that is my opinion, because his opinion is the opinion. So a lot of people can come and say this is my opinion, this is my opinion, this is my opinion, and then we can actually say yes, but I'm going to follow what Krishna's opinion is, because that is my supreme guide, like that we conclude. Okay, so until now, the Lord Krishna has been describing various yogas until we reach chapter 6, right? In chapter 3 was Karma Yoga, okay, and then was a little bit of Jnana Yoga, and then we went to Dhyana Yoga. Okay, so ultimately he says, and he declares that one who practices Bhakti Yoga is the highest yogi, and that is his opinion. So with that, we have to have great faith in Krishna. We must think of Krishna, not only saying that we are devotees of Krishna, but we must also think of Krishna in our mind. Okay, recently we had conversation with some people, and for this person, God means something that you do in the morning and then something you do in the evening. But being God conscious is you being conscious of Krishna throughout the day. Whatever you do, you think of Krishna. Okay, Krishna, I'm going to do this. Okay, Krishna, I'm going to do this for you. Krishna is so hard, but I'm going to do it. You have that conversation that you want to do things for Krishna, because remember, this is karma yoga. You have to do your things because you have duties to perform. But when you surrender the results to Krishna, then it is a karma yoga. Otherwise, it's karma kanda activities. Karma kanda activities means the work that you, karma means work, right? When you do the work, you will get reactions. So what we want to do now that we are leveraging on the knowledge that we had in Gita Gyan, we don't want the reactions. So all the results we surrender to Krishna. But you have to do your duty, because without work, you cannot keep your body, isn't it? Maintain the body. This is exactly what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita also. One cannot be without working, because he has to keep his body, maintain his body. Krishna used the word maintain. Okay, so that one. Okay, bhajate. Bhajate means bhakti. Okay, now we're going to zoom into this word bhajate. Yeah? So bhajate is the root for bhakti. Okay, so bhakti is different from worship. Worship is only one activity that you worship, right? Like I mentioned, somebody worships God in the morning, somebody worships God in the evening. But bhakti means something that you can do any time of the day and in any manner. Okay, so we have like this. Can you all read this? Can somebody read this? Yashoda Priya Mataji, is it visible enough? You can just read you can read both if you want to, Sanskrit and English. No, Kajay Mataji, can you read for us, please? Sravanam.
Oh, okay, Mataji. Sravanam, hearing. Kirtanam, chanting about the holy names, forms, qualities, and transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Smaranam, remembering the Lord. Padasevanam, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Archanam, worshipping the Lord. Vandanam, offering prayers to the Lord. Dashyam, becoming the servant of the Lord. Sakyam, consider Lord to be the best friend. Atma Nivedanam, complete surrender to the Lord.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So this is how Krishna suggests that we should always think about him by doing all these 9 devotional services. Okay, this was taught by Prahlad Maharaj. So like this, the yoga will take us from karma yoga, where you will start, you will be doing work, but you are surrendering the results. Okay, when you keep doing this, you work, you surrender the result, you work, you surrender the result, or you work, you detach yourself from the fruits, you will gain more knowledge, and naturally you will develop the renunciation mentality. So knowledge and renunciation increase here. Okay, so that is jnana yoga. Okay, when you have acquired much jnana, okay, sufficient jnana, you will start meditating. You will go into this Ashtanga yoga practices like this Ashtanga yoga. So you start meditating. When you start meditating, ultimately what should happen is that the mind should be absorbed in thinking of God. Okay, and that culmination, right, that is called Bhakti yoga. Okay, so we can do step by step like this. Okay, do karma yoga, do jnana yoga, do ashtanga yoga, and then come to Bhakti yoga, or we can straight go to Krishna through Bhakti yoga. Okay, so can we have somebody to read this? Tamare Mataji.
2 days already where?
Tamare Mataji.
The culminations of all kind of yoga practice lie in Bhakti yoga. All other yogas are but means to come to the point of Bhakti in Bhakti yoga. Yoga actually means Bhakti yoga. All other yogas are progression towards the destination of Bhakti yoga. From the beginning of karma yoga to the end of Bhakti yoga. It's a long way of self-realization.
Okay, thank you. It's a long way to self-realization. Okay, next one. Next one. Yashoda Mai Mataji. Anybody else have not read yet?
I can read, Mataji.
Okay, Meena Mataji, yes. Come, Mataji.
If one is fortunate enough to come
to the point. Mataji, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, Mataji, you're breaking. Can you try again? Oh, I think the line is bad, Mataji. Network, yeah.
Read, Mataji?
Yes, Yashoda Mataji, you can read.
Okay. If one is fortunate enough to come to the point of Bhakti yoga, it is to be understood that he has surpassed all other yogas. Therefore, to become Krishna conscious is the highest stage of yoga, just as when we speak of Himalayan, we refer to the world's highest mountains, of which the highest peak, Mount Everest, is considered to be the culmination.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Mataji. So again, it's being established here that the Bhakti is the final destination of yoga. Okay, ultimately we want to be absorbed in thinking of God. Okay. Another slide for reading. Anybody would like to volunteer? Jagadish Mataji, are you still driving? If not, somebody else.
I read, Mataji. I think I can. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, can hear you, Mataji.
The ideal yoga concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Chama Sundara, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels and whose body is flower garlanded, illuminating all sides in his gorgeous luster, which is called Brahma Jyotir.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So here we are given the guide how to do this meditation. Okay, because Krishna said, I always think of me. So how to think of Krishna? And this is how you think of Krishna. How that he is beautifully colored as a cloud, and he has a lotus-like face, effulgent as the sun, and he's got a dress brilliant with jewels, and his body is flower garlanded, and his body is emitting wonderful, gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahma Jyoti. Okay, so all these yogis that they attain samadhi or attain perfection in the dhyana yoga, they attend this Brahman platform. Okay, so but we don't want that. We want to go to the highest one. Okay, like Brahman is the first stage of the understanding. Second stage is the Paramatma understanding. The third stage and the highest is Bhagavan understanding. So this is to teach us how to attain the Bhagavan understanding. Okay, that we focus on these features. Okay, so that's that. Okay, and again, it's about controlling the activities of the senses. Activities of senses should be purified instead of controlled by artificial means. Okay, so it will not work long. And Krishna conscious, which is done through Krishna consciousness, and that is the sublime Bhakti Yoga system. Okay, like Krishna said, Bhakti Yogi is the highest yogi. He's the topmost yogi of all. And how do you do that? By doing all the 9 devotional activities that I shared earlier. And you should be always meditating on Krishna using all these features that was explained earlier. All right. So I think this one we already went through just now. Okay. So you remember, right? Okay. What else? Okay. So what are the challenges you face in performing bhakti or devotional service? How do you plan to overcome them? Anybody would like to share just one challenge that you face? And if you have a plan or you want to ask suggestion, then maybe we can share. Maybe some people would have gone through the challenges and they have applied certain things and they have successfully overcome it. Anybody would like to share? Challenges you face in performing bhakti. So for sure, we know dhyana yoga is very challenging. All that Arjuna has already told us. What could be the challenges we face in performing bhakti? What could stop people from doing it? Anybody would like to share? No worry, no judging. You can share. We are together for 1 year plus. Okay. Maybe some people may have challenges waking up early. So how do you overcome? Sleep early, okay, or not eating heavy at night. Or if you think that you don't have time to chant throughout the day, then maybe you are disrupted with lots of activities throughout the day, then you want to keep your chanting in the morning where the mode of goodness is still very much prevalent, no distraction of phone or family or kids or work yet. So you settle that in the morning. So these are the challenges that you can overcome. And if you think that while chanting that your mind is, going for a walk, going for a marathon, right? So you have to stop and bring back the mind. You have to keep doing that. Like Krishna said, it's possible through practice. So these are the some of the steps that we can take to overcome it. Okay. All right. So just what is Bhakti Yoga? Okay, just what is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is basically the activity of giving, the art of giving. Okay, what am I giving? Where am I giving? To whom am I giving? And then why am I giving? So if you feel your life is so frustrating, then you have to go down to this and ask yourself, what am I giving? Where am I giving? Why I'm not feeling satisfied? Why? Because we are giving to the temporary things. All right, so we are not giving to Krishna, where we came from. We are not giving to our Supreme Father. So until and unless we do that, then we will not have the happiness. The soul will not be satisfied, because the soul's condition, the soul's constitutional position is to serve the master, the Supreme Soul. All right, so we always want to think this. Every moment we ask this, why what am I giving? Okay, where am I giving? To whom am I giving? Why am I giving means, which means what is my motive? Okay, so this can be applied in our chanting. Like before we chant, we can ask these questions. Okay, what you can do is, what am I giving? You are giving your time. Okay, you're giving your time, you're giving your attention, you're giving the prayers for perfection and love, and trying to love. And then next question, where am I giving? Okay, where am I giving? I'm giving at each moment. That means from where you are giving. Okay, I am giving at each moment of the present. That means I'm sitting down, I'm going to chant, and this is where I am giving. Okay, and I'm giving in my mind, I'm giving in my heart, and I'm giving it loud through my body. When you chant, you vibrate the mantras, right? So you're giving out there from your mouth and your voice. Okay, so this is where am I giving. Next question, to whom am I giving? Okay, to whom? Of course, you are giving your attention, you're trying to love Radha and Krishna through their holy name. So the super soul in my body and within all my things, to my deities, if you have deities, and the pleasure of my gurus, if you have guru. Okay, so otherwise it's Krishna or Srila Prabhupada. Okay, to whom am I giving? Next question, why am I giving? So that means your motive. Okay, why am I giving? I'm giving my attention and I'm giving my feelings to the chanting of the Lord's holy name to please Radha and Krishna, to please Krishna. Why? To become purified of my material consciousness, to revive my eternal nature as a loving servant of Krishna, out of my duty for Guru. This also can be your motive. Okay, your motive can also be a service to Lord Chaitanya or the devotees. Okay, this is a form, this can be a form of worship or service, a prayer for perfection. Because by nature, we are a giver. We like to give. Why? We always feel happy when we give something. Today my girl always give me the small notes like I love you mama, I love you mama, like that. So today she gave me a heart shape. Say, why you like to give me this? Because when I give you, you look happy. So I don't know why when I see you happy, I feel happy. She said that. So I was like, very nice. So I can actually use that example here, because naturally when we give something and we see people happy, we are happy. So let us give at the right place to the right person with the right motive. Okay, not to get any reward or recognition or fame, name, like that. Okay, so we are done with our week 23, right? 22. So the next slides are Nectar of Holy Name. I'm going to skip all this. Yeah, I'm going to skip all this. This is the sharing because we can read this, but what I want to do is, we had a festival today. This is I think this is a 7-minute video. So I'm going to share this in the group later. Okay, so I'm going to stop our week. What week is this? Week 22. I'm going to stop this now, and I'm going to share some story about a festival that we did today. Okay, who knows what festival we did today? Yashoda Priya Mataji, would you know what festival we had today?
Today, don't know.
Panihati Chitadahi. Did you hear about that?
Yes, Mataji.
Said yes. Indra Mataji, you know what? Did you come to temple today, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I was there.
Oh, why didn't you call me? Did you see me? Oh, Yashoda Mai
Yes.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, very busy you.
Ayo, why didn't kacau me? Okay, where were you? I didn't know you were around.
Almost every week I'm there, Mataji.
Oh, Mataji, call me. Okay, next time.
Okay. Can. Next time.
Okay.
I always see you busy in the temple and
Pretend only, Mataji.
very, very service engaged. So
No.
it's always, but it's not no harm. Next time I'll call you to say hello, Mataji.
Yeah, can. Okay, so we had a festival today. It's called Panihati Chida Dahi. Okay, Panihati is a place, name of a place in West Bengal where Mahaprabhu appeared, okay, 500 years ago. Chida means cheap price. is it aval? Aval in Tamil. Aval, chida means cheap rice, the flattened rice. Dahi means yogurt. So it's actually a cheap rice yogurt festival. Okay. All right. So this the highlight person of this festival is Raghunath Das, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Who is Raghunath Das Goswami? Okay, if you can recall these pictures, this is our sixth Goswami. This is our six saints. Okay, when Mahaprabhu came and went, these six Goswamis, they have actually devoted their life to write and preach about Krishna consciousness. They are very close associates of Mahaprabhu. Okay, it's just like, you know, we have our alvars, 12 alvars for South India Vaishnava system. So these our Sat Goswamis under Gaudiya Vaishnava system. Okay, so we are different branches. So one of them is Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, Raghunath Das Goswami, he was originally a rich, wealthy person. Okay, he was barely 20 years old when when this pastime actually started unfolding. Okay, so Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, his father and uncle, they are very wealthy landlords in Bengal. They are almost like kings, and they had very huge, opulent palace, and they had boats, and they were nearby river Ganga. Okay, however, they're very grounded. They uphold their Brahminical culture, and they're very charitable. So much so that they take care of the people in their surroundings. So that's charitable they are. Okay, and naturally they will want their the heir Raghunath Das Goswami to carry on the business legacy, the family dynasty. However, what happened is that the father or the uncle, they had a guru, Yadunandan Acharya. So this Yadunandan Acharya is a very close associate of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is the crucial person who actually cried out for Krishna to come, and then Krishna came as Mahaprabhu. Okay, so he's been very exposed to association of these great acharyas like Advaita Acharya. And then we also have Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur always, he's always been hosted by the family. He always pay visit. And during that visit, he talks a lot of glories of holy name. So Haridas Thakur, you know the story, right, where the prostitute come and try to, seduce him, but he made her sit at the Tulasi plant and then let her hear him chanting. Finally, she became a devotee. So that's how powerful Haridas Thakur is. He can transform somebody in just few days. Okay, so like this, Raghunath Das Thakur, he grew up receiving association, wonderful association of such people who are close associates of Lord Nityananda and Mahaprabhu. All right, so with that, he developed very wonderful and deep love for Mahaprabhu. And what he does is that one time he got an opportunity to meet Mahaprabhu. So ever since he came back, he's very crazy about him. Like almost daily, he will run away from his house to go and join Mahaprabhu. That time Mahaprabhu was traveling already. Okay, so when he comes back, he just runs, and then the father has to go and catch him back. So this has been happening like a daily thing. And then one time he even got to a stage where he has to keep 5 watchmen to watch him, and some brahmanas to cook for him, and some people to take care of his comforts. So like this, he had assigned 11 servants to watch him, actually, to make sure that he doesn't go and see Mahaprabhu, because if he goes, then he's not going to come back. Okay. However, one time he got to know that Mahaprabhu came by to a place called Santipur. Okay, Mahaprabhu is going to Vrindavan, and from Vrindavan, he is going to Jagannath Puri. So that time Mahaprabhu just took sannyasa. So the advice that Mahaprabhu gave Raghunath Das was this: be patient and return home. Don't be a crazy fellow. By and by, you will be able to cross the ocean of material existence. This is the advice that Mahaprabhu gave. Mahaprabhu didn't say that, okay, come, let's follow me. Let's, take the renunciation order of life. He didn't say that because he understands Raghunath Das has responsibilities. Just like Krishna told Arjuna, don't do renunciation, do your duty. Okay, so that's the beauty of it, the beauty of the philosophy. So next, what he says, you should not make yourself a show bottle devotee and become a false renunciant. He also said, don't be a monk, don't do monkey renunciation. Monkey renunciation means something that is not permanent. It's very temporary, done out of emotions. Okay, so what he said, for the time being, what you must do is enjoy the material world in a befitting way, meaning go on, do your duties, your father and your uncle's business, take care of it. But your mind should be very faithful, thinking of Krishna. However, externally, you behave like an ordinary man taking care of the business and you do not become attached to it. So this was the advice from Mahaprabhu to Raghunath Das. So after that, Raghunath Das went back and became a good son. He was taking care of the business, no problem. Even there was a very huge legal dispute, he actually solved it. And then it got confidence from the family that, oh, okay, Raghunath Das is back to us. He's not going to leave us. Finally, he's being a responsible son, So all this impression was given to the parents. But internally, Raghunath Das always thinking how to go and see Mahaprabhu, how to go and see Mahaprabhu. This is the only thing has been on his mind. Okay, Raghunath Das was inwardly completely renounced even in family life, but he did not express his renunciation externally. Instead, he acted just like an ordinary businessman. Seeing this, his father and mother were satisfied. Okay, so these are the bodyguards. Okay, why? I tell you later. Now, what happened is that so Mahaprabhu is not there. Okay, Nityananda Prabhu is the next best person to him, and he got to know that Nityananda Prabhu came to a place nearby called Panihati. Okay, Nityananda Prabhu came there, and upon receiving the news, Raghunath Das went to that place. When he saw Nityananda Prabhu, this is how he saw Nityananda Prabhu looking so effulgent. Okay, there was a song line describing how Lord Nityananda would look like this. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are as cooling as hundreds of thousands of moons. And here he is described as being as effulgent as hundreds of thousands of rising suns. He himself is like the sun and moon. So like this, this is how Raghunath Das saw Lord Nityananda. And what he did, he, out of humility, he paid obeisance from far. He did not come near Lord Nityananda because he had the bodyguards, right? So from far, he paid obeisance. But Lord Nityananda, one of the servants, noticed that, oh Lord, look, Raghunath Das is paying obeisance from far. Then Lord Nityananda called him, oh, you are a thief. You are paying obeisance so sneakily like a thief. You come here. I'm going to punish you. Then Raghunath Das didn't want to go. Then Lord Nityananda got some people to forcibly took him to his place, okay, where he is sitting. And he put his lotus feet on his head to bless him. And then he said, this is what he said, you are just like a thief. For instead of coming near, you stay away at a distant place. Now that I have captured you, I shall punish you. So he's going to punish Raghunath Das for paying obeisance from so far. The punishment is, so this is the humorous part. Raghunath Das is so rich that you can actually punish him by asking him to do anything. But the punishment given to him by Lord Nityananda is, make a festival and feed all my associates with yogurt and chip rice. Chip rice is something that's very, very affordable, very cheap. It's not like an extravagant or very premium kind of food, right? So he asked Raghunath Das to do that. Of course, Raghunath Das did that very pleasingly. Okay, he was only 22 years old. Raghunath Das was so young. So with that instruction, he quickly asked his people to go and get lots of pots, lots of chip rice, lots of milk, ghee, banana, yogurt, condensed milk. So all this was taken in and they start preparing the food. the cheap rice. So they started getting all these kind of big pots. So there were 200 to 300 pots and 7 big pots where they soaked the cheap rice in the hot milk, and one in the condensed milk, one in milk, yogurt. So like this, what else? Banana, sugar, sweet meats, and other eatables. Okay, all the fruits also they use. So basically, it's various. You have various recipes you can do mix and match. Okay, so this is the scenery. Okay, illustration. And then what happened is that Lord Nityananda was so pleased with the festival that Raghunath Das prepared, and he actually meditated and brought Mahaprabhu to that place in his meditation. Okay, when Mahaprabhu appeared, only a certain rare souls could see Mahaprabhu is there. Okay, a lot of them could not see him. So what Nityananda Prabhu did, he took a walk with Mahaprabhu around that place, and they were feeding each other. Okay, so when people saw Lord Nityananda is, feeding and, being euphoric and everything, and people were thinking what Lord Nityananda is doing, is because not everybody can see. So like this, the whole land was taken by people sitting and eating. And there was a point that is no place, and people started going to the bank of River Ganga to start eating. And to the extent people entered the water of River Ganga to stand there and eat. So it became so crowded. People were coming, merchants, businessmen, brahmanas, a lot of people coming. So it was such a grand festival. Okay, so this was the site there. Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, they are there, and many people cannot see, only some can see. Okay, so the lesson that I would like to share here is that you can see how Raghunath Das, even though he was so rich and he is so talented, he can do a lot of things, and he keeps doing the duties, but internally he's been thinking about the Lord. Okay, he's so attached to Krishna, and this is what Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita, that you perform your duties, but in your mind you always think of me, and that is the topmost yogi, isn't it? All right, and the beauty of Lord Nityananda's presence here is that it is just like our gurus, okay, and they know how to engage us. Okay, so because of their ability to engage us, we will be able to please Lord Krishna. Okay, so that is the conclusion I can share here. Another nice story is that, but there's no story, I have only this slide. Raghunath Das' glory is like this. After he became a Rinanchi, after he became the Goswami, right? After he left his house and everything, he was with Sanatana Rupa Goswami, those who are familiar with these names. So one day he was actually sitting under the hot sun and he was chanting. Okay, and it was, I think, Sanatana Goswami or Rupa Goswami, they're walking nearby. Suddenly they felt that place was very muddy and watery. How come it's so muddy and watery on a summer day? There is no rain. And when they actually trace back that water, where is it coming from? The water is perspiration from the body of Radharani. Okay, Radharani was sweating. Why she was sweating? Because Raghunath Das Thakur was sitting under hot sun and chanting, because he was so absorbed in chanting and meditating on Krishna and Radha. He didn't realize that he's actually, it's too hot. But Radharani, being very affectionate for her devotee, she came and used her pallu to cover Raghunath Das, and she herself was sweating. Okay, so can you see the nice relationship here? The devotee is devoted to God, but Radharani is the topmost devotee of Krishna, and she doesn't care for herself, and she's protecting him from the hot sun. So the moment Radharani saw Rupa Goswami walking towards them, she disappeared. And then Rupa Goswami actually slightly chastised Raghunath Das. We should serve the Lord. The Lord should not serve us. So they actually built a huge, a small bhajan kutir. Bhajan kutir means it's like a hut where this the persons who have renounced, they sit there in the small hut and they will do their bhajana, they will do their chanting, they will do their reading, their worship, they will sit there. So this is a place in Vrindavan. This is his bhajan kutir. Okay, so once they pass away, it will be made as their a small temple like that. Okay, so that's about it. Oh, I still finished early. Okay, so I hope you like the story. It's very nice story. So we had the festival today. I don't know how to share some photos. Never mind. I will share some photos in the group how we celebrated that. So it was a competition and we had, I don't know how many teams, like more than 10 teams. So everybody get a different recipe. So we have to paint the pot, we have to do decoration, present it, and then I think the result is next week. Is it, Yashoda Mai Mataji? Today we didn't know, right?
Yes.
Suspend lah. Every time also like that. Next week only we will know. Okay, that's all. Any questions? So habis early today. I will share the Prabhupada video in the group.